So, good morning, my friends, and welcome to this week's captivating episode of Motivational Moments with Maria. I'm your host, energetic, high performance coach Maria, and I am just honored that you listen in every week. Here's what I know, and here's why I do what I do, because I believe that you want to experience more joy, fulfillment, energy, and productivity in all areas of your life. So I come to you every week because I'm studying personal growth and I'm studying personal development. And I have a group of colleagues that I work with that are experiencing the same journey. And they have been through obstacles and challenges in their lives, but what they know is that they can overcome their fears because fear is one of the things that holds us back. And so today I am so honored today to introduce one of my colleagues. Her name is Thania Trieu. Welcome to the show, Miss Thania. I am so thrilled that you agreed to be on today with us. How are you today?
Hi, Maria. I'm doing great. And thank you for having me on your show. It's an honor and a privilege to actually be able to show up and to just share these moments and these spaces with people. So thank you.
I'm so glad you're here. I really am. And not only are you beautiful, but you just exude beauty and energy and excitement and authenticity. And I know that's one of your key areas that you focus on is authenticity. And so I'd like to for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, what you've been doing in life, and why you do it.
Mm. It's always a great question to answer the why, because until we know exactly why we're doing something, it's not going to drive us in a way that is so empowering. It becomes like this obsession that you wake up day in and day out to do to get better at. So my journey actually really, I would say, an awakening journey during the pandemic. Yes. And my son actually asked me a question that, Mommy, are you going to become successful and make a lot of money and bring our products out to the market? See,
Wow.
at that moment, yeah, I had joined forces with some partners to launch a business. And with our vision not aligned,
Mm.
things weren't going to work out. And so I actually stepped down from an executive role. And at that moment, we asked that question. I couldn't say yes. So when you know that your kids are now like watching you, it's almost like, oh my gosh, Thania, who are you becoming? What are you doing? What examples are you leading? Because their eyes are on you. At that moment, I said, I need to start to lead by example. So I had to walk the walk and talk the talk. Now, fast forward. It was just an ordinary day at home. And, most teenagers or preteens, kids, they have fear of monsters in the closets and all of that. And it's common. And when he asked me, Mommy, have you ever seen a monster in the closet? That day, I decided to put on my coaching hat as a nurturing mom, providing with a safe space, and chose to get creative. I said, Today, Tyler, I want you to create a superhero. And I want you to give the identity of the superhero and the superpowers because we want to empower our kids. I didn't want to tell him who the superhero should be. And so we sat down and he said the identity of the superhero that he wanted to create was mommy.
Wow. That is pretty impactful. And I'll bet you just went, whoa.
I did because I didn't expect that. I was thinking iconic superheroes like Spider-Man, Batman, but no, mommy. So I was taken back, but I continued on. I said, All right, well, what superhero powers does mommy have? And he said, and I trained my kids culturally well. He said, Mommy's got chopsticks. I'm like, all right. Imagine these chopsticks as ninja stars that can soar from the skies that will keep you safe from a distance. The monster can't get close. And what else? And he said, Mommy's got a whip. And I was like, all right, well, imagine this whip as like this belt next to you. And that from a distance, 6 feet long, that if I were to whip these monsters, they're going to feel the pain and they can't get close. And I said, what else? And he goes, your hands. Wow, Maria, I thought I was coming here to empower my son. He just reminded me of the gift and the talent that I have, the creativity that flows through me that if only I really embraced it fully, the things that I can do and make and create with my hands.
Mm-hmm.
How powerful is that?
Extremely powerful. What an amazing gift that your son gave you.
Yes, that wasn't it. And then I said, Tyler, I want you to know that your mom, we're here, I'm here to keep you safe. So you don't ever have to be afraid of the monsters. You
Mm-hmm.
know what he said? I know because you're physically here next door in the next room.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Maria. You see, we think that as kids, as human beings, that we need external superheroes to tell us who we are, how great we are, to validate. But in fact, what people and children like Tyler are looking for human beings, their parents, to be this superhero. And that's when I said, I need to step into my true powers and that I need to lead by example with my superhero powers, my true powers. And that's why this work of stepping into your authenticity, who you are, is so important. Because when you do, and you show up as yourself the way God has created you to be,
Mm-hmm.
that fear of judgment, the self-doubt, all that noises that we holds us back is not so big anymore because there's no mask you have to remove. And when you speak from the place of the heart as who you are to add value to serve. And that's when you really step into your superpowers, stepping into being your authentic true self.
So let me ask you this, and I can appreciate that because stepping into your true power is sometimes someone say, well, that's easier said than done, or you this, you that. And I say, look, fear is part of the process. Fear is something that causes you to grow. And first of all, I absolutely can hardly wait to meet your son Tyler, because what a great guy. What a great son you have, and he's given you that wonderful gift. But how do you embrace fear to take empowering action?
So the first thing I have to do with fear is instead of trying to overcome, which a lot of people are trying to overcome, is I embrace fear as a friend.
Hmm.
When you befriend something, you really want to get to know and you're curious. And fear is really here to keep you safe. So befriending fear is the first advice that I would suggest to people. Don't overcome because when you try to overcome, you're met with resistance.
Yes.
And yes, and so you don't want to make an enemy out of fear. Fear is a friend. There's a lot of things to learn from that moment. What is it telling you? What is it teaching you? And then finding that courage and confidence to take empowering actions is what's going to move the needle towards your dreams. So one of the story I like to share and a tool I want hopefully will help people walk away with is if you can visualize a purple elephant in your mind, Maria,
Got
and
it.
for those who are listening, yes, we can see it, right?
Yeah,
This
you can
purple
see it.
elephant. But guess what? This purple elephant doesn't exist. But I took you there with a thought. And that's what fear is sometimes, is a thought that we create that's imaginary, not real, like the monsters in the closet. So to befriend fear, I always say when you know and you give it an identity, it's so helpful. So I gave fear a name, and I actually called my friend fear Ellie, short for elephant.
Ah,
So
very good.
whenever Ellie shows up, I said, Ellie, thanks for showing up, but you're not real, like that purple elephant.
Oh, that's
And
outstanding. That is outstanding.
right,
What an excellent thought. What an excellent idea.
right. You recognize it. It's an identity. So you can call Ellie up anytime and you say, Ellie, thank you for being here and being aware of it, but you're not real.
Right. Because as we know, Tanya, the brain only knows what you tell it, right?
Exactly.
The brain only knows what you tell it. It's only going to go left when you tell it to go left or go right. And it's those imaginary thoughts. I love that. This is a great, great tool that someone can walk away with. Name your
Yes.
fear.
Yes. And give it, and treat it as a friend. Treat it as a friend and name your fear. One more tool that has helped me is fear. We tend to, the acronym that most people think is forget everything and run,
Hmm.
which we do. And that holds us back. We dabble in life, we stay small, and we dim our light. But let's reframe fear to for everyone about to rise. And in the word fear here, that it's a number two. And the number two, the significance is that we have choices in life. And there's two sides to every story. We can either let fear control us or we can master fear.
Hmm.
Now, on the one side of that number two, Maria, is for everyone about to take action, but we don't. We play small and then we miss out on countless opportunities. Now, on the other side of the number two is for you to rise. So I hope everybody here will choose to reframe fear and will choose to rise and to rise above their fear. So when I actually shared this as a speaker at a summit, one of the audience walked away and shared with me in her testimonial that, oh my gosh, Thania, you allowed me to take something like fear and reframe it into positivity. So now I can teach my kids like afraid and scared and change it into a positive light. It's a perspective, it's a change, it's a reframe. So
It
I'm
is a
sharing this
reframe,
story.
right?
Yes,
Because I have this thing. If you change the way you look at things, things you look at change. And I look at
yes,
fear as, false evidence appearing real, because that's it. It's
yes.
false evidence because we've only told it it's there. We've told our brain it's there. So yes. So I love these tools that you're giving us that we can implement when?
Anytime,
Anytime.
immediately.
Immediately. Yes. Yes, yes.
Because fear comes in so many different ways that we don't think it could be something that's happening. It could be a thought. And, again, go back to the monsters in the closet. They're not real. Go back to the purple elephant. They're not real. And so it's been helpful to me and my journey. I share this with so many and it's helped them. So thank you for having me here today so I can share this on your podcast, Maria.
I mean, I love this. This is great because everybody's like, "Oh, I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid." But when you reframe, as you say, and the fear is my friend, just like failure is my friend, right?
Yes,
How many times have we attempted something and we failed at it? But through every failure, what happens?
we rise.
We rise.
We rise. That's why I choose to rise above your fears
Hmm.
again
We
and again.
rise. We rise. We learn from it. And I always look at, and everyone is afraid to try something because they might fail. And I always say, so what if I fail? What if I don't make it? What if I don't get picked? What if? I said, now let's flip that around to what if you do get picked? What if you do finish the project? What if you do? So turn it into a positive, because I'm really about looking at how do I turn that negative into a positive? Oh,
Right.
the positive
So
act.
this is helpful when you start to befriend fear. Guess what? Take it along with you on your journey.
Hmm.
And then when you do, you start taking actions. And that's what's going to move the needle, right? Is that
Right.
we have to do something about it, to think about it, but we don't take actions. That's where I think a lot of people also fall short. And, failure, as in fear, it is only going to build that resilient muscle for you to get stronger, to get up. But look at it and learn from every lesson, every moment, every
Absolutely.
opportunity that you're being
Absolutely.
challenged to rise.
Yes, you're being challenged to rise. And do you rise to the occasion? Or does, you fall down? I mean, I believe, because I love that song by Pitbull, you know, I believe that we can win. I believe that we will win. And he starts that off. You can have fear, you know, forget everything and run, or you can face everything and rise. And so we have the
Yes.
ability to rise. And that's what I always like to tell people. We have all had more challenges, more obstacles to overcome. And yet here we are. Here we are still standing and continuing on our own journey of personal growth and personal development. Now, I know that you coach and you speak, right? And you have programs out there for people I would say, to implement, to engage in. What are some of the things that you have available to, if somebody was interested in contacting you, where would they reach you?
So we actually have a program, a 6 weeks program called Rise. And Rise is simply just stepping into, like we've just shared here, going a little deeper and understanding fear and looking at fear as a friend and actually getting to know it in an intimate relationship in a way that you really get to know it. Because when did we ever take a moment to get to know fear at that level? And then understanding how to show up more and more authentically as your true self, because then you get rid of all those noises, all those chatters, all those self-doubt that fear creates and holds you back.
Yeah,
And then
right.
being able to tap into a place where we're going to ask you and get to that question, that one question that's going to help you shift whatever it is that you're trying to create and taking that next step. Because if we don't take that next step, how are we going to take that next big step to get to where we want to go? And so that's a 6 weeks program called Rise. But True Force Empowerment Workshop is another thing that we do where we allow people to step into on camera, on photos, to really capture their essence so that they can share their message more confidently as their true self to the world. Because I will tell you, there's so many individuals, especially in this community that we're at, Maria, who has amazing gifts and stories, so
Mhm.
inspirational and transformational, that needs to be heard and their
Tell me a little
voices.
bit more about that. Tell me a little bit more about, because I know you have somewhere where you bring in photographers, videographers. Tell us a little bit more about what that's like.
So I created True Force because I needed a True Force. And so
Okay.
my background is I've actually been in the beauty industry for over 20 years doing
Okay.
hair and makeup, but I've also been in corporate, for a decade through climbing the corporate ladder. And as someone with a creative eye, I have a way of capturing your videos that is more captivating in a storytelling format and your video and your photos in an artistic way. Because today we have to captivate and we have to show up in a certain way. And as a coach, being in that place of mindset, we get to hear, listen, and mirror back and help prompt them to just feel more comfortable. So literally, that's 5 in 1. That's my secret sauce. I'm a makeup artist, a hairstylist, photographer, videographer, and coach. So when I show up, people have a tendency to feel really safe. And that's when I capture their essence and I'm reflecting and I'm like, because what I'm feeling is I'm not just looking at how good you look and what you're saying sounds good, but I got to feel it because through these screens today, that's how we can connect is energetically with our true essence. That's where trust and power, transformation, impact is created. Now, there are videographers and photographers at these events that I host, but when someone works with me, they get 5 in 1.
Beautiful. 5 in 1. I'm a videographer, I'm a
Yes.
photographer, I'm an artist, I'm a makeup you know, and I'm a coach. So I can coach you to all those areas and say, look, just I love the thing about we're talking about authenticity, because you know, you hear that word bantered around, all be your authentic self, be your authentic self. What the hell is your authentic self?
What is
Honestly,
your authentic self?
what is
It
your authentic?
is, it's a journey that we're constantly striving to be authentic, to be in integrity. So we're never ever going to be fully, authentic. That is just not possible. But you continuously strive. Actually, Maria, have you heard of Atman?
No, I
Do you know who
haven't.
Atman is?
No, Ottman. Ottman.
Okay, Atman. So
Atman. Atman. Okay, Atman. Okay.
I believe this is going to just tie everything from the superhero to this authenticity place here that have tapped into. So when that story came about with my son, Tyler, I said, Tanya, you need to go out there and you need to lead by example with your superhero powers, but you need to share this story with everybody else so they can do the same. So on a trip in Istanbul, I actually had a visualization where I wanted to call upon a guide and I
Mhm.
called upon a finance guide because I was ready to receive the abundance and start doing this work. And in my meditation, I got into a cave and I was like, why am I in this dark cave? And I saw this light coming through, this white light, this, then this another light. And when I stepped out, I met my guide. And the first question I asked is, what's your name? And the name that came to mind was Batman. And I was like, this is perfect. Batman's a superhero.
Mhm.
And guess what? Batman is Bruce Wayne, a successful business entrepreneur. So I got my guide who is successful and a superhero. I go to Cappadocia. And in Cappadocia, we were with a group of people, had no idea, just tell me where to go, what to do. Maria, we discovered caves after caves after caves, underground caves, raised caves, and I stayed in a cave. This is where it gets really interesting on a tour. From a far distance, inside this cave, I saw the word Atman.
Mm.
And I said to a colleague who's from India, wow, I just saw Atman in this cave. And he goes, Tanya, do you know who Atman is? And like you, I said, no, I don't, never heard of him. What is it? Atman is in Hinduism, is the universal divine true self soul.
Oh.
I was like, oh my gosh, Tanya, your last name is True. The work that you want to do is to help people show up more authentically as their true self. The what you've created, this initiative, True Force Empowerment, is to help people show up more authentically as their true self, to confidently share their message. Why true? For that reason. Why force? Because there's an inner force within us, and there's this divine force that exists.
True.
Empowerment. When we empower someone, Maria, they show up so differently. And now here, I got my superhero, the Atman. I see the word Atman in the cave, the universal divine true self soul. That raised my standards to how do I show up to be Atman, Batman. So the word Batman in itself is to
Yes.
strive to be Atman.
The Ottman. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. It's like you were giving the universe was sending you messages. I mean,
Yes.
unbelievable. That is incredible.
So that's the
Incredible.
standard now that I strive to be. And that's the work that I'm bringing forth. And I
Beautiful.
believe my last name phonetically sounding true was a reason too.
Absolutely. Just absolutely. That's beautiful. What a story. I mean, you must have been just off your rock. I mean, I would have been, is this really happening? Am I dreaming? Let me pinch myself when these sort of things
Yes,
happen in our lives. It's like, oh,
yes.
someone's speaking to me. And you know what, I can totally relate because we've all had those kind of events and people look at you and go, are you really for real here? I go, yes. If you open up your mind to the possibilities, really open
Surrendering and
and
present.
exactly be present, be observant, because we're running through life so darn quickly, we're missing messages, we're missing magical moments. And just something as simple, as for me, the spirit of my mother comes to me in a hummingbird. How often do you know a hummingbird will land on your hand? And I know there's a message there, right? So
Yes.
we just be present, be open. Now, I mean, I love this conversation. I love the talk about fear. I love the talk about authenticity. And if somebody wanted to reach you, how would they reach you?
Yeah, so they can find me on my website at truelearningprogram.com. They can also follow me on Instagram at True Learning Program as well.
Okay, give me the website one more time. True Learning.
Truelearningprogram.com.
Okay, perfect.
And my
And
Instagram is just True Learning Program.
True Learning Program at Instagram. Great. I think it's important. Now, I always love to you know, you shared some valuable lessons. You've shared some of the challenges that you have had to overcome with your son, and and just being a role model for our children is so important. And you are, as I call it, Wonder Woman. I use Wonder Woman in my life. You know, Wonder Woman. I'm going to be Wonder Woman. I'm going to pose. I'm ready to go. So that's beautiful that your son created you as a superhero. And moms out there, and dads out there, and grandmothers and grandfathers out there, we truly are the superheroes in our children and our grandchildren's mind. So
Yes, we are.
be that person. Be that person for them. Give them the attention they need. Be fully present with them, because those are the important moments in life. Now, let's flip it to something fun for a moment. I always like to ask this question. If a genie popped out on your shoulder right now and said, I'm going to give you 3 wishes, Thania, what would those be?
Wow. 3 wishes. That I would love for people to be loved. I think when we are loved, we create magic. When we are loved, we love ourselves inside out. The world is such a beautiful place, and we're all happier individuals in our own unique way. So
Yes,
I would say,
absolutely.
yes, let love guide the way. And you said 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
The second, the second one is I want people to really have fun and be curious and explore, because when you do, the things that you can discover, the creative things that you do, the innovation, and I think this place creates magic in so many different ways, because have fun along the way, and the things you'll create, you're going to bring so much to one another. And then the last is I would think this would be an easy answer, right, Maria?
But it's not. And
And
I
it's not.
everyone
It's
every
not.
time I ask that question, people go, wow, you know, I can have what I want. I get you have 3 wishes. What are they going to be?
I think a life of quality and freedom. Because when you have a life of quality and freedom, what else more could you want? You have the love, you're enjoying it, and you're being curious. And by being creative, you're going to create the impact and do good for you and everyone else. And then you live a quality life with freedom. You get to have that's it.
That's it. That's
That's
right.
it.
It's a simple thing. But people go, okay, you know, I want this, I want that. It's like, really? Uh, I live my life by choice. For me, I live my life by choice. And I have the freedom that I want. And I do what I want, when I want, with whom I want. And it's wonderful.
Right.
That
Right.
is
And
really,
quality
yes, the quality of your life is everything.
and freedom means you get to buy what you want. You get to do what you want and choose how you want to spend your time. And that's
Correct.
why when people look at their values, like, it goes up into this triangle, and really at the highest is love. And that's why I chose love first.
Yes.
And
Love
what
it.
I'm understanding too now is that authenticity is really becoming this high up there, along with love and quality of life and freedom and service.
Hmm.
So,
And let's
yeah,
not forget continuous growth.
yes,
Because
we are
at the
a
center,
constant work of art.
We
are
are
evolving.
yes, we are evolving, constant work of art. I want to thank you. I want to thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me today, because this is a good message. Now I want to go. I want to summarize. I told you, everyone, who's your superhero? That was great. I want you to say fear. Fear is your friend, right? Fear is your friend. And authenticity. Be your authentic self. Don't worry about being judged. Just be you. And when you're you, open up to possibilities and be present in everything that you do. Correct?
Yes, yes. Well,
Okay, great.
amazing job.
Okay, so my friends out there, you have someone, I know you do, that needs to hear this message. So go ahead, hit the share button and share this message about fear and authenticity with someone that needs someone cheering them on. So until next week, you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, stay focused, stay positive, and always have fun. And no matter what you choose to do it with passion. Passion, authenticity. And you know I love to have fun. So I will talk to you all next week. And thanks again, Miss Thania Trieu. You're truly an inspiration. And I love the message that you're sending out there. So thanks again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.